Hello everyone, Grandma here. Today I'm making Willy Wonka's Nutty Crunch surprise from this book. We watched the original movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder about 100 times since it was my children's favorite movie. The movie itself will be 50 years old this year. The ingredients are 7 ounces semi-sweet chocolate broken into small pieces, but I'm using the semi-sweet chocolate chips instead. 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is a half a stick. 5 tablespoons light corn syrup. 3 ounces slivered almonds. 6 plain vanilla cookies. 1 ounce Rice Krispies, a few drops of vanilla extract. For the Nutty Crunch you need 2 tablespoons water, a half a cup of sugar, 2 ounces slivered almonds finely chopped. The first thing I have to do is chop up my 6 vanilla cookies. So I have my favorite little chopper, and now I'll chop them. As you could see, I chopped them up nice and fine. Now I'm putting in my slivered almonds. And I have to chop these up fine. That's good. Got them chopped up. Now for this step, I'm using my double boiler. I have the water underneath and the pot on top. If you don't have a double boiler, you could just use a saucepan and put a bowl inserted into your saucepan. But I like my double boiler. So I will be adding the semi-sweet chocolate chips, the corn syrup, and the butter. And this has to be all melted. Mix together and it will be slowly melting. Grandpa gave me this double boiler many years ago. Now you can see how nice the chocolate has melted with the butter and the corn syrup, nice and smooth. So at this point we're going to put in all these 4 ingredients. The Rice Krispies, the vanilla, the few drops of vanilla, the slivered almonds, and these were not the ones that I finely chopped. You put them in just slivered like this into the mixture. And then we're putting the crushed cookies. Now that's going all in, then we're going to mix it up all together. This should be very good because this is all the ingredients that I like. I love nuts and chocolate, so I'm sure I'm going to like this. You just have to keep stirring it to make sure everything's all blended good. Everything's blended well together. Now it's been mixed well and it's all ready to put in my pan. Now I'm putting it in my wax paper pan. Said you have to line your pan with wax paper. Now I have to smooth it out. They say you take the back of a fork and press it down. I guess that helps to even it out. And that looks good, right? Now I'm going to put this in the refrigerator to cool, and I'll be back. For the chocolate coating, I'm using 7 ounces milk chocolate. They say broken into small pieces, but I am just using the milk chocolate chips. Now I took it out of the refrigerator and it seems to be done. And now what I have to do is I have to cut it in pieces. Now I'm going to cut this, try to cut it good down the middle. Cut this down the middle. And then I'll cut this over here like this. Now I finished cutting up all the pieces, took the wax paper out. Now I'm going to stick it back in the refrigerator till I finish doing the next step. I'm making the Nutty Crunch mix. I'm putting 2 tablespoons of water in the saucepan. And this is a 1/2 cup of sugar. And now I'm going to slowly pour it in, swirling the pan. The saucepan. You have to do this very slowly. This is the part that takes a little bit of time to do. I'm going to move this over before that melts. So you have to put the sugar little by little. You cannot stir it at all. You have to swirl it around. I'm still putting a little sugar at a time in here in the pan with the water. It's going to take a little bit of time to do this, because you just put a little to the heat and then you have to pick it up and keep swirling this. So this is not a quick process to do this. To do it right, you have to do this slowly. The sugar has been all melted together with the water. So now I have to keep stirring this till it caramelizes and turns like a golden brown. Now this process will take me probably maybe close to 10 minutes to do. Okay, now it caramelized now. The sugar and the water, as you can see, it's a golden brown. And we're ready to do the next step. Now I'm mixing the nuts into the caramel, and now I'm going to do my dipping. Now I'm dipping it into the caramel nut sauce. and putting it on. This is wax paper that was buttered and on a cookie sheet. I put the wax paper that was buttered on a cookie sheet. Dipping it, it's hardening very fast, so these are the few end pieces that I had. So now the nut crunch topping has been put on. This recipe says that you only make 8, which we did. And now we have to wait till this cools, and the next step will be dipping it in the chocolate. And what I had to do is I had to transfer the cookies onto parchment paper now, because they said put it on a buttered sheet of wax paper, and they were sticking even on the buttered wax paper. So I transferred them to a parchment paper, which seems to be much better. So if you're going to make this recipe, I recommend parchment paper. I'm pouring my milk chocolate into the double boiler to get it melted. This is the last step in making the cookies, to melt the milk chocolate chips. The chocolate is almost all melted. Just a few more minutes and it'll be ready to dip the cookie in. It's all melted now, ready to be dipped. You're supposed to dip it, but I'm just going to do it this way. I guess. I don't know. Dipping the chocolate in. Let it put it on the rack for a minute. These are going to be nice and chocolate, full of chocolate. Between the cookie and now dipping it in the milk chocolate. If you like chocolate and a little bit of crunch, this is the cookie for you. The Willy Wonka's Nutty Crunch Surprise bars are all done now. The milk chocolate is nice and hardened, and they're ready for a taste test. How's it taste, Grandpa?
Let you know in a minute, Ma. Looks good. With all that chocolate on there. My favorite, chocolate. Very chocolatey. Tastes good with the nuts and the Rice Krispies inside. Very good. Delicious. Let's try the nut end. Very good. Tastes nutty, like a nut crisp. Come to think about it, it tastes like a Rice Krispies bar with a lot more chocolate and almonds. Let me try the other end. It tastes like an almond brittle. Very good.